back over, got the window down, some cool air, and figured out after we drove back from Atlanta with a concussion in the semi. I got it.
That's when we were wild and woolly. We really worked hard back then, no doubt about it.
Night and day.
24 hours a day in the Christmas tree business. We'd shut our shop down and go in the Christmas tree business until we got done, and then we'd turn around and go back into the shop when we come back after Christmas. And had a lot of long days. And he was not lying about the left lane, because we had a Kenworth that Patricia and I had actually blew up with us coming from Florida. Twice. Well, the first time was a turbo, the second time it was an engine. Gentleman built it in my shop, and it was a 315 Cummins. I bought it with a bad engine, and we rebuilt it. Tried to get him to put cam burns in it. Said, nah, there's nothing wrong with those. And then she blows up. So we turn around and we make a 315 Cummins into a 400 Cummins. We take a 9-speed out and put a 13 overdrive in. Naturally, we never did find out how fast it run, but Ray tried. The last trip we was coming from Atlanta, I was running in excess of 90 miles an hour trying to keep up with him until we stopped at White Horse Road in Greenville, South Carolina. And I told him, I said, I care for my driver's license too much. I said, you can go on if you want to, but I am not following you no more. I was smoking an old Chevrolet pickup trying to keep up with him. That was before I knew what governors and slowing everybody down and driving was back then, because I was a little bad to do some of it myself. But that was another day that we had some long-winded trucks, and they would roll on down the road.
You worked for us when we had Rider Pie, didn't you? No, you didn't work for us when we had Rider Pie? Oh, God.
As a 6V50, 6V92 with a Hendrickson dead axe and no power steering. I told Tricia she'd have to wire across her heart bra if she went down the road with me.
That was all the truck I ever rode in my life. Oh, and we went to Texas in that daggone truck.
No, not that one.
Oh, that one.
That was the one when somebody you didn't like start messing around at auction sale under your hood. All you had to do is hit the starter. The starter was an air tank that had an air starter on it, and it sounded like a jet engine taking off when it fired up. And they would pretty well come out from under the hood when you hit the button. But we've had a lot of good times, a lot of tough times together. I remember the night I met Joanne. It was at Ray's father's funeral. That's the first time I met her, I believe, if I remember right.
You remember that? No.
I do. I remember you thanking me for hiring Ray to help us. I've always remembered that. Well, I didn't hire Ray only to help us. It was to help himself as well, because the night we negotiated him going to work for us, we were sitting in his driveway, if I remember right. And we went through the process.
I cried and cried and cried. I said, how are we going to pay him? I don't know how we're going to pay him.
I was actually going to pay him more than I was making. And I said, we're just going to have to work twice as hard, looks like.
I didn't know. We were just barely, I felt like we was just barely making it, and I thought, oh my gosh.
She was used to living off a paycheck, and I never had one, because I was used to going a month and not having any money, and I had to really ration myself. So the problem was, and the other second thing was, is when she went to work for me, we'll tell that too, before we hired Ray, is I lost $23,000 the first year in business here. Never did tell the banks, but the reason I lost it was because the whole thing that I tell you guys about in the parts department, you write it down before you go out there and put it on something, even if you're going to bring it back. Well, I'm the true experience of that. I didn't write it down either, and I just guessed how much I had in them pieces, and I sold and thought I was doing so good to lose that $23,000. And then Ray came aboard driving part-time for me and delivering at night. And he was farming during the day and delivering at night. We both run a lot of hours back in, and so we got it turned around and we started making money. Well, the second year in business is, after we done all this, is the lovely thing is somebody broke and entered in our building and stole about $25,000 worth of stuff. And so we had $23,000 to make up, $25,000 we just lost, and that year we done pretty good. We made $60,000 and owed $22,000 worth of taxes. Never forget them numbers. And That's when she cried when she wrote another check. She wanted
I've done a lot of crying back in those days. Believe me.
But fortunately enough, through the hard times and the good times, we mathematically made it come together with a lot of good faith in what we could do and how we could get there. And the building we built in 1989, Ray started heavy with me and Elmo. I don't know if many of you know him or not. He did packing or whatever, running a sheet foot roller on our lot. Ray'd run anything I put him on, and I was running pans during the day and dozers at night because what they'd mess up during the day, I try to level up at night.
We'd go in there and have that thing smooth.
That's his story.
John would go in about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning and start bulldozing with no lights. And by the time we got there, here these mountains of dirt piled everywhere again.
Well, that's how you feel in the dark, you know, whether you got bumps or not, because it's a rough ride. You got to make it smooth. But the association of what we've done has been great. The fellowship of doing it. His good times, his tough times, and mine the same. And we've worked together, and we've made it come together. We both had a good life to live. Of course, as Joanne's not been here a while ago, but as they've raised some fine daughters and grandchildren, and they're to be raised yet. But as this one right over here got to go on the hay ride, they have their church and children come out there, and he takes them through the woods and on that beautiful farm they got out there, and all the kids have a great time. So if you hadn't been to his place at some time, you need to ride out there and see that llama in the middle of the night of a dark night come running at you. Then you really wonder what's going on, big and white as it is. So, but it's been a deep appreciation in everything that we've done for all these years. And the meal's been an appreciation for all you guys working for us, because right now this team here has probably been one of the greatest and better ones that we've had associated at one time. And we've had some great people working for us that's went on their way and done different things. Jerry Coke was a real good guy that worked with us, and Jerry's around here yet somewhere.
He stopped the shop the other day.
Did he?
5 years young. He did the last time I seen him.
He was our Caterpillar guy that worked on Caterpillar engines. He was highly religious, but it's the only time I hear him say a few words every now and then or have a prayer under a hood. 3116s were a tough engine to work on, but he was one of the most excellent people we ever had to work on. He left us and went to truck driving, and his wife had enough of that, so he came back and worked a little while longer till he retired finally. So, but we've seen a lot of good people come and go, and it's been gracious that we've had the inside or on-side to run a company and do, because, you know, everybody's gone to college and built all these things. We went to school of hard knocks. Now, Ray got educated, I didn't. I got educated trial and error. Because when I came out of high school, I'd had enough of schooling. I didn't want no more, but I didn't know how much schooling I was going to get to go through before it was over with. The mistakes that we've made in growing this company, they're not easily forgotten. And that's why a lot of you, we give you guidance and not a lot of times told you why. It's because we have been there, we have done that. Anything that you do, he or I, either one, would not filter or fall on anything as far as either cleaning the pit to painting or whatever. Now, I don't remember how his painting was. I don't think it was too good, so I got to do a lot of that before you guys come on board. But he's done just as much as I have to grow this company as I have myself. And you know, when you got somebody backing you like that, it's not hard to go. And basically, the way we look at our company, and I always have, it's a company that we do definitely own, Patricia and I, but we all work together, and it's all to make our living and have a good living together. And anybody that's done anything, and that later on we will be talking about that as people come and grow old with us and in our company as we age a little bit.
Uh-oh, Gary.
We'll think about more stories going on. We'll cross those borders another time. But we really thank Joanne and Ray for being part of our family as a company and as friends. And Tricia, you got that envelope? What'd you do with that?
Yeah. Okay.
We thought about a couple of other things, and one of them I tried to hit earlier, and I made a mistake as always of waiting too late. And I called Joanne up one day. So what we discussed didn't work. But she told me what's going on, and we talked about the good Lord and everything. Ray